Today we're going to be talking about YouTube titles, how to write the best YouTube title, what are some tricks and optimization angles that you can use to write a good title, and then just how to brainstorm titles. Let's dive in. So first off, some general best practices for titles. Your major keyword, the most important keyword you want, should always be at the front of your title. Whatever you're writing, if your video is about unbox therapy or ChatGPT or Tucker Carlson, who just got fired recently from Fox, your main keyword always has to be at the front of your title. So the first thing, your keyword, the most important keyword, should always be at the front or close to it. If you can get your major keyword near the front of your title, so if your video is about the iPhone 14, it's better to say iPhone 14 review than we review the iPhone 14. You want your keyword front and center. You want your title to be short. The fewer amount of words that you can use, the better. So if you can make a short, catchy title, that's going to do better than something that's long. Why is that? Well, I call it impacting the lizard brain. We don't want people to consciously absorb the titles that they're reading. We don't want them to think about it. We want them to read it very quickly and make a decision to click. So whatever you do when you're writing a title, what is something that's zesty that's going to get people to click on it, or mysterious that's going to get people to click on it, or exactly what they're looking for? Are you giving them a search term that they need? So iPhone 14 review, that's a search term. People are just looking for that. They want to see it. And that's really all you need to say. But if you're doing something like, say, unbox therapy, and you're making entertaining content, and you have a product nobody's heard of, well, he has a really interesting tactic that you see a lot on his channel, which is Samsung doesn't want you to see this, right? Samsung doesn't want you to see this. See what? What is it? Oh my goodness, right? Or this camera is an absolute monster, right? You don't necessarily have to do a ... I actually wonder if he had done a caps lock there, like monster in all caps, and maybe an exclamation point and an emoji, if that would have done better. Caps lock is absolutely cruise control for cool, and I recommend playing with caps in your titles. You want to make sure you're not being sarcastic. So there are ways to use caps in a way that's sarcastic and doesn't look good. They use a lot of the YouTube tips right, but they also use a lot of them wrong. So like, if your channel isn't growing, learn this now. That's a terrible YouTube title. Or big mistakes small YouTubers always make. Like those are terrible titles. Like, vidIQ has the right idea in that they are using exclamation points. They're using active and exciting language. They have short titles, but they completely misuse caps because they're emphasizing the wrong words in their sentence. You need to be picky about how you use caps. Otherwise, you just come off as extremely thirsty for views. The reason I like Unbox Therapy is because he adds an element of mystery to his titles. And then if you notice, he's very good about putting keywords near the front. Coca-Cola smartphone. That's all you need to say, right? Or OnePlus, and then the thumbnail says OnePlus. Find a way to add mystery or intrigue or hint at something. Caps is a great thing to play with in your titles using caps lock. Careful how you use it because you may come off as sarcastic. See, Unbox Therapy does it. Huge power without the wall. Unboxing the ultimate folding smartphone. That's a good use of caps because it's not sarcastic, it's not desperate, it's relevant, and it's needed. And if the title doesn't need caps, don't use it. Emojis is a total hack. And just like caps, you want to be conscious about how you use emojis. Because if you use the wrong emoji or you use an emoji for no reason, your video won't do well, right? You'll come off as thirsty for views. When is an emoji relevant? Well, let's take a look. So Oura Ring Gen Z Horizon 10 days later, that actually might have been a good title for a ring emoji. I'm sure there's a ring emoji that they could have used. Let's take a look at what else we have. The new electric Porsche is here, or the GMC Hummer is stupid good. That one, there's too much going on in that title already. Like, we're already using caps. Let's not also throw in an emoji. This is perfect. The new Dell XPS 13 Plus is stunning. You could have added 2 sparkle emojis on either side of stunning, and I guarantee you that would have increased the click-through rate. Playing with emojis, playing with caps, putting your keyword near the front of your title because it helps in search. If you put it near the back of your title, the algorithm actually thinks that that keyword is less important in your video, and it also takes people longer to read it. Remember that the algorithm is people, so there's always an element of YouTube that is like this machine, but really it's people. And people are looking for keywords, and if they don't see the keyword right away, they're like, I'm going to go to the next thing, right? So it's not just the algorithm, it's people. So playing with caps, playing with emojis, putting the keyword at the front of your title, keeping your title short, and then using active language. Using active language can have a big impact. And then adding an element of mystery. What I love about Unbox's ... strategy is it adds this very interesting element of mystery to his titles. Obviously, you want to be relevant, right? You want to find relevant keywords and relevant titles to where you want to be. You don't want to clickbait people, so you want to make sure whatever you're saying, it's accurate. Let's see what MKBHD does. I'm trying to find some good examples here. He's too vague, so this is a terrible title. So even though I love MKBHD and, he has a lot going on, this is great logos, Google and Bing, and everybody's going to watch MKBHD because he's great. I really hate how vague some of his titles are. Dope tech, better than expected. Nobody could title a video like that. Only MKBHD could title a video like that because he's so popular. You could never write a title like that if you were a brand and expect to get 2 million views. It just doesn't happen. MKBHD has some of the worst titles in the YouTube game. Like, This Works, 1+11 review, they're back. Like, that's a great title. And it's a good use of exclamation points. It's a nice use of exciting language. Most of his content is like the biggest problem with AI, which you could do, no, that's not a good example. Most of his content is like, dope tech, better than expected. What the hell does that mean? What's dope tech? What's better than expected? Let's try and find another example. Smartphone Awards 2022. What the hell is a smartphone award? Who knows what that means? MKBHD has a huge built-in audience of millions of people that watch his content, so they know what the smartphone awards are. Discoverability isn't going to be as high on this video as it probably could be. Right? It's just because MKBHD is a well-known name that he's able to get away with stuff like Dear Twitter and get 5 million views. You and I could never do that. It's too vague. I like that it's short, but it's way too vague. MKBHD's titles absolutely drive me nuts, but he doesn't have to care because he's super famous. I'm going to see if I can find anything else. I found a good one. I have found that including the name of your channel or the name of your show really only works for like television programs or Critical Role. It's far from the norm. So if you're thinking about throwing your channel name into every single one of your videos, like John Oliver Last Week Tonight, he puts Last Week Tonight in all of his titles. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. I don't think it actually helps discoverability. I wonder if they changed their strategy and just said cryptocurrencies too, and they didn't say Last Week Tonight with John Oliver HBO, if it would have the exact same number of views. It's a really interesting question. It's a test that I've run with certain brands, and I've gotten mixed results. I've found with TV companies, like TV channels that have a program, it's actually better to include the name. And then I've found with brands who have completely unnamed shows that no one's heard of, like Actually, people know Actually, but it's not a TV channel. It's better not to even bother throwing in the name of the show in the title. It does not increase discoverability at all. Like Nerd of the Rings always says Tolkien Explained at the end of his titles. I don't think he needs to do that. I think people know who Nerd of the Rings is at this point, and it's better to just lean into the keywords he has rather than throw in the title name at the end of everything he does. Oh yeah, there is one more, which is best first, worst last, and I've talked about this in a few other videos, but let's go back to Unbox Therapy because he's the master of this. So something that Unbox Therapy does particularly well on his most viewed videos is he follows what I call the best first, worst last rule, which is you want to use extremes. People love extremes, and this is also kind of a topic thing, right? Unboxing every iPhone 11, the world's most powerful smartphone. Mr. Beast is also a master of the best first, worst last rule. So if we go and look at Mr. Beast's channel, you can see, look at all these massive dollar amounts, right? 500,000, 456,000. I spent 50 hours buried alive. Now, a lot of this is topic, but having that in mind when you're actually making a video. I ate the world's largest slice of pizza. Perfect example. Thinking about those kinds of angles, they tend to do better. It's called best first, worst last. We live in a world of extremes. That's what people want to click on. And Mr. Beast really has a mastery of the best first, worst last rule. Now, for people who don't have big budgets, you could still do like an informative take, like say, you could do an animal documentary on the smallest animal in the world, right? That's a great topic, but it's also a great title. You want to make sure you include the name of the animal first. If people have never heard of this animal, then you can just say world's smallest animal. You don't even need to say the name of the animal because nobody will have heard of it. It's not a search term. So it's good to think about what's a search term versus what's not. If you're wondering what's a good search term versus what's not, you're not gonna believe this. You can go into YouTube Studio. So we're going into my content right now. You can actually go into YouTube Studio. You can go to Analytics. You can go to Research, and boom. You can type in a keyword, and YouTube itself will actually tell you if that's a great keyword or not. Let's say I want to do a documentary about capybaras. Is capybara a good search term? Yes, high. Search volume, high. Now, we don't get specific search volume output, but we do get a good idea of how good or bad this topic is going to be. Another interesting tool that you can use, there's a lot I don't like about vidIQ. I will say that. I will preface that first, but there is a lot I do like about vidIQ. So we're going to go take a look right now. So you go to vidIQ's website, you go to their keywords section, you type in capybara, and they actually tell you how much search volume it's getting. Isn't that interesting? vidIQ kind of disagrees with YouTube. They don't think there's high interest. There's like 1 million people. Over what period? I would like to know. That's the one thing that always frustrates me with this stuff. We know the search volume, but over what period? It's an interesting question. But it's a useful tool. Now remember, if you do use vidIQ, you will have to give them access to your YouTube channel data. So something I recommend doing is, if you don't want to share your data with vidIQ, that you create a dummy account that you can sign up to vidIQ with. They claim not to sell your data, but what happens if they get hacked, right? It's not safe. So I've already made the mistake of giving my data to vidIQ away. It's no good. But if you're going to use vidIQ and use these tools, they do take your data. You have to give them access to your channel. But you can also use the YouTube Research tab. Google Trends. Google Trends is a big enough tool that I'm going to have to get into it in a separate video, but you can actually go on Google, search Google Trends, and you can compare keywords to see, if you're deciding between two topics, which topic is better. Like, do I want to talk about capybaras or bats? All right, I'll do a little tutorial right now. Google Trends. Let's type in capybara, and let's compare it to bats. There you go. In case you were wondering, bats are more popular than capybaras. If you were deciding on a video between bats and capybaras... Oh, I'm filtering by web search. Hang on. Let me change the filter to YouTube search. Very important. Oh, isn't that interesting? On YouTube, capybaras are more popular than bats. You heard it here first, folks. That's big takeaway information. If you're going to make a YouTube video, definitely make it about capybaras. So while it doesn't show you specific search volume, like it doesn't show you how many people are searching for the thing, you can use vidIQ to get a general idea of how many people are searching for the thing. What frustrates me is they don't have an over time setting, so it's kind of a mystery what this might mean. Maybe they explain it, I just don't know, because I'm new to this particular tool. I've just discovered it recently, and I'm a big fan of it. If you know any great search indexing keyword terms, let me know. One thing I will mention about search optimization, it's all in the title. Do not worry about descriptions and tags. People who claim to be SEO experts, they might be for Google. There's no such thing as an SEO expert on YouTube. It's all about topics. It's all about, finding the right way to list your title or write your title, right? That's a pretty limited context for SEO. Most of the time, you really just want an entertaining title, and you know how to write an entertaining title. I'm just giving you some basic general rules. And that keyword one, where you put the keyword at the front of the sentence, that's a big one. If you found this interesting and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you've found any other good SEO tools out there, I'd love to hear what they are. Don't hesitate to hit me up. These are just some of the tools I use. We didn't have time to go into everything I use, but these are some of the basic ones that you can use for free, which is why I like them. So I hope that was interesting. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.